Hi everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another episode of Coffee Corner. And you already know today's topic is about ego is the enemy. Yes, and this is not from me. This idea is not from me. This is a book. Ego is the enemy. Firstly, in the very beginning, when I first saw this book, someone mentioned this on YouTube. I wasn't really sure, but I kind of had an idea that I had that kind of ego which stopped me from improving. So I thought me as well just pick it up and have a look at this. So I think that is a good decision for me. In the beginning of this book, it wasn't really much of my thing. I'm never a fan of self help books. I sometimes think uh, when you talk, everything is clear. When you do it, it's always more difficult than you thought, and then words become um, useless in that situation. So self help, yes, sometimes can guide you, but sometimes can make you feel more miserable. I don't know why, but that's just my case. But when I picked up this book, in the first few sections, I was like, okay, it's one of those chicken soup style. It talked about how great you can become and what lessons you can learn from great people, and it's hard, right? When my mom tell me what to do, I know she's doing this for me, and I know it's good for me, but it's always hard to listen to her, right? Same thing with this book too. Until I read a little bit further, and then I realized it is a very useful book. It will give you a strike, seriously. When you read some of the examples, some of the words, you're like, ah, okay. No wonder I was like this. No wonder I didn't want to listen to other people. No wonder I didn't improve for a while. That's because my ego was acting out, and my ego was trying to stop me from improving, from getting better. And that's why I want to talk about this book. First of all, I haven't finished this book yet, but I thought that would be a good idea to share some of my thoughts about this book because you know me, I'm always talkative. If I finish this book and I started sharing this book with you, it's gonna be like, I don't know, 1 hour long video. So I don't want to make that happen. Let's just keep it simple and short. When I read it, there are a lot of quotes, and if you follow me on Bilibili, you probably noticed that I've already posted 2 chapters of the book, right? My book reviews or notes about those 2 chapters. There are some quotes are very useful and very inspiring for me, and I had a few comments there. And there are some quotes I felt like I've been there, but I haven't posted it yet. So my strategy is to read it first and make some notes on my book, and then we'll come back and write them down. So in this way, it won't interrupt my flow, so I can keep reading it. The reason I want to talk about this book before I finish is just I saw this quote and I felt like that was me when I started my job. And then I think it would be a good opportunity for me to bring this up when we talk about our work, when we talk about relationships with your colleagues, and even with your friends. And sometimes ego can really hurt you in those kind of situations. So the first thing, no, I'm gonna pass the first few sections, and this thing is on the chapter I'm recently reading. It talked about how people, especially when you are at the intern level or when you are doing internships, you think you're really good, and why are you listening to those dumb people, and why you have to do those meaningless tasks here, and you think you're the best candidate. Why can't they hire you? And sometimes you even think, how dare they force you to do things like you don't want to. You've got that anger, you've got that complaint about the things you are doing right now because you think you're way better than what they think, and you should be doing something better than what you're doing now. But have you learned anything yet? Have you learned anything from what you're doing right now? I don't think so. When I had this whole experience situation, I didn't really learn much because I spent all the time on complaining what I should not do, while doing it. So it's such a waste. In this book, he uses a lot of examples of great people or even some bad people, talking about why we should keep our heads down and work all the way up to the position we want to or the direction we want to, where we want to go, right? Um, I thought it was very inspiring to talk about those people because first, you can learn stories from them. Second, you get ideas about what books you want to read. It is always good to learn from other people. It doesn't matter if they're great people or bad people. You learn from their greatness, you learn from their mistakes as well. So you will tell yourself how come they become such great people and you will do similar things. And then when you see bad people and when you see their mistakes, you will warn yourself that I'm not going to do the same thing. I'm not going to make the same mistake to avoid that. Come back to our complaining at work, complaining about the relationship. It's always about our ego. It doesn't matter if you're confident or not. Everyone has that ego, has that moment you will think you are better than someone else. And when that happens, you're going to act out. You're going to be like, why am I listening to you? Right? That happened to me with my parents when I've spent so many years here dealing with a lot of things by myself because I got no one to help me with. So so what I learned was like I know a lot of things. I have experience. When my parents were telling me what to do or what not to do, my first reaction is to get angry because that's my ego. I think you know nothing about here. You know nothing about how to solve the problems here. I know English, I speak English, I know the situations, I know people. So stop telling me. But that hurts the relationship between me and my parents for a long time, my parents and I we don't get along with each other. That is the biggest problem. Until I would say until recently, before I read this book, I was gradually kind of realizing something going on, something bad going on with me, and I started accepting a lot of things. Sometimes I don't have to agree with them, but I started accepting what they say. I would admit that some of the things they say uh, are good. Some of the things are nonsense. But I wouldn't say that out loud, saying that, oh, that's stupid. You should not say that. No, you don't even know what's going on, right? So that is my ego when I was doing that. But now I realized I have to keep my ego somewhere else and then started being a humble person. Not just saying that being a humble person, but saying that um, being a humble person, you will get benefits from it. It's a real thing. It's not just like, oh, being a humble person, you will look good. No, I got benefits from being that kind of person. My relationship with my parents is getting better because I was trying to like, hey, you are not to know the all, right? So gotta let that ego go and then be the person that you want to know more. Doesn't matter if it's good or not, because when you know more, you are more open-minded. Uh, you will be more critical about something you learn, and that's when you actually learn things because you will go on and check it out and see if this is a false information or not, right? So that's how you learn it. When it comes to work, I definitely had a moment after I've been getting really well at my job. So when I first started teaching, of course, I was nervous. I was newbie. Uh, I was always worried about a lot of things. So I learned from other people when they gave me advice. I took them. I will convert it such advice or knowledge to myself stuff, to my own stuff. But then after I was getting better and better at my job, and then I started being the one like, no, you don't dare tell me what to do. You know nothing. I have experience. My students love me. They like my style. If someone started questioning me on my teaching skills or even questioning me about my ability, I started getting offended. And I've talked about being offensive, being offended in videos before a couple times, a couple of videos, many times, a couple of videos. And then now, after I read this book, I realized sometimes when you feel offended, not because you something they say was true about you, it mostly because you don't believe that those kind of person can say that to you because you're the best. Right? How dare they say that to you? They know nothing. And that's when you refuse to learn or when you refuse the opportunity to learn. That's when you stop learning and then going backwards. So if you don't move forward, you are actually going backward. So after this book, not after a few chapters of this book, I realized that sometimes I was very ignorant, and I, of course, with my super ego, when I see other people, especially when I see inexperienced people, when they can't do things, when they ask me questions, my ego has been building up to the level I thought I'm really someone. And when they ask me questions, I of course I'm willing to help, but then I kind of got attitude like I'm better than you, right? So that will hurt your relationship with your colleagues because even though you don't realize it, you show it. You talk with that kind of attitude, and people will notice that. It's a subtle thing, but they will notice that. I didn't realize that until uh no, I didn't realize until now. I was actually trying to think about what I've done with other people. There are a couple of uh people in this field. They just started. They started asking me questions. I got very impatient about what they asked, just because like you don't even know this. How come you ask me about that? So they are learning. They're moving forward by asking me a lot of questions, and I'm still staying in the same position, same spot because I think I know everything. When they ask me, of course I'm the best, and I'm not learning from them. When they are telling me some information, something new, I refuse to learn. I had that attitude like, how dare you tell me this? Who are you? But I shut the door, right? I shut the door to a different direction, right? So that's when I learned, and I was like this for a while. And now I'm trying to learn, trying to shift myself to a different directions. You can learn things from anyone. It doesn't matter if this person is better than you or less good than you. How can I say worse? Less good than you. You still can learn something from someone. That's what I need to remind myself is every time when I see someone, there must be something I can learn from this person. I just don't know. I just haven't discovered that yet. So keep my ego somewhere else in the corner, or give it to Bob and let him eat it. I'm sure he needs some of that. Some of that. It is very important to uh, zip up and learn. Uh, of course, people will say, "Well, you gotta give some of your opinions." Sure, I like opinions. I do give people opinions as well. But I think it's also very important sometimes to keep yourself silent at that moment. Let other people talk first, and then when they ask you for your opinions, that's when the time. That's your time to shine. So I had a few moments. I think during a meeting last year, I was trying to be that I'm the one. I know everything. During a meeting, I cut my colleague off, and then I started talking about something else. And I started acting like, wow, yeah, listen to me. I know everything about technology. Your situation is not a big problem, but I don't know why it is a big problem for you. I know how to fix it. So I had that show off attitude. And now when I think about it, I feel really embarrassed. Like I can't believe that happened. And when you acting like you know everything, you are already the stupid one in this group. And people actually know it and people actually would notice it. So next time when you are in a group, it doesn't matter if you're a study group, your discussion group, or your coworkers, your team, your project group, you notice the person who always wants to show off, the person who always wants to be the one. How do you feel about it? You feel they're really good, or you feel like, oh my god, look at that stupid guy. Comes here comes him again, right? So I sometimes had that feeling too. And now I was one of them. At least I realized that next time I would be like, only if when they ask then I can say, uh, this is what I know, this is what I can help with, and then I can learn better if you need me. Uh, but I wouldn't say that, yeah, I know that. I know how to deal with it. I don't need your help. So that's at the work. With a friend, I screwed up a few relationships with my friends just because I had that I had this strong ego that I think I'm the best, that you should listen to me, and I'm giving you advice. Why don't you listen to me? I'm doing everything good for you. Um, then I was acting like a mom, like my mom in this friendship. Of course, my friends got upset about my comments and my advice, and then they were like, "I can't deal with this. I can't deal with this with you anymore." And then we just split. So now I realize when it comes to any kind of a relationship, either friendship or relationship with your partners, relationship with your parents, or at work, it's all about how you can keep something, especially keep your ego inside of yourself, not showing them to anyone else. Don't show that you are better than them. When it comes to giving advice, have they asked you for that, or you just kind of sense it and you think they want your advice and then you're giving advice to them? Are you giving advice, or you're trying to force your way in their way? Are you trying to force them to accept everything you say and do what you want them to do, or you're just actually giving advice? So there's a difference. When you have this ego acting out, you are forcing your way there. So you want them to accept everything you say because everything you say is the best. Of course, they should do what they're told by you. Uh, and I think that happens to parents too, right? They tell their children, you should do this, you should do that. They never ask if they want to do it or not. Because for you, you're at that level, you're parents, you know the most. You know what is good for your children, what is not. And then you acting like asshole because you are forcing them to accept everything you say without asking about how they feel. And for your friendship, for my friendship, now I keep certain distance. It's not like I'm not trying to get closer to my friends. Where all my best friends I have right now, we know how to respect each other. We have our very own opinions, but we won't force our opinions uh, on them, right? I don't say, wow, you gotta accept this. I like someone else doesn't mean they have to. I think eating vegetables is very good, but they might not think so. For me, the best way to lose weight is to exercise and to have a regular diet, healthy diet. But for them, they may think, well, you've got time and a place to exercise, but we don't. Maybe there are a better way for them to do to lose weight or to get fit, right? So you don't know their situations, then you can't jump into the conclusion and give them your solutions because your solution might not apply to them. When you realize everything is the ego there, and then you started realizing that, oh, okay, when I stop learning things, when I say no, when I feel uncomfortable, when people say no to me, uh, you don't feel that much uncomfortable because you realize that it's not them, it's you. You are trying to be the best. When you can't, you feel uncomfortable because you're losing the control. I don't think people like being out of control. At least I'm not. I don't like that. I'm not a control freak, but I definitely like when everything is under control. But when it's not, I started having anxiety. Um, but I have to tell myself that you are not perfect. You're not the one who's in charge. And just be a student. Always be a student. And another thing I want to mention is about talk, talk, talk. I know I'm very talkative. I used to talk a lot. When I have plans, I like to talk about my plans. When I like to talk about potential uh, prosperity, potential benefits in the future when I don't even have that yet. And I screw up a lot of my plans. I said that, but that never happened. I planned to do this and it never happened. And I kind of feel like, is that a karma? You know, that you do that, you think things will go to a bright way, and then they turn out no, it's gonna end it in a dark way. And now, after I read that there's a chapter about Talk Talk Talk, and I post that article on Bilibili, so you can go have a look at that article as well if you want. So I realized it's not about karma, definitely not. It's about you are releasing something that haven't happened yet to people. If it hasn't happened yet, how can you talk about it? Because you want to show off. I'm going to buy a really nice house when I get this job. I'm sure when I get this job, I'll get paid really well. But have you got this job yet? You haven't, right? So you're talking about something that has not happened yet. So how come you will know the result? How come you will know the story will end well? You don't. And normally in that way, it's not going to end well. Why? Because when your ego is acting out, you are not paying attention to what you're supposed to. You are not paying effort to something you should work on, and you are paying effort to talk. You talk about it. And then where does your effort go? Your effort goes to your talk. Your effort doesn't go to the work. So if you keep your heads down and you started working, you have 100% effort and tension to the thing you are doing, and I'm sure it's gonna be successful. Even if it's not gonna be successful, at least you have accomplished something. But if you only talk, 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 all you can get is the glamour here right now. But after that, what else can you get? Nothing, right? So that's why I think when you want to move forward, when you want to improve in any fields, in any area, you want to be better, just be a student. And sorry, ego is your enemy. Seriously, they will stop you from learning more, from being more curious about things, from being more creative. Give that to someone else. Don't give it yourself. It's not something pressure. Have confidence. When you accomplish something, that's when you have your confidence. And that kind of confidence won't be destroyed by anyone, anything, because you have actually accomplished that thing, and that's yours. And sorry, Bob. Sorry, Bob. I think I scared Bob. Sorry, baby. It's my fault. Okay, so I hope I wake you up too. Um, that's everything for today. I'm very happy. I hope this is a short video because my camera is still on. So I want to finish this video with something we normally would think and with something we should think. So hopefully that will give you some idea. A flash of inspiration. I want to do the best and the biggest link ever. Be the youngest link. The only one to link. And the firstest with the mostest. So you always want to be the smartest one. You want to be the newest one. You want to be the most unique one. You have super big goal. You want to become Bill Gates, and you want to become next first lady. You want to become this. What are your plans? What are your steps? What are you gonna do to make this happen? You don't have it. You only have the super goal, and you don't even know how to achieve it. Right? That's why break it down to small pieces. Start from little zero. You want to speak English very, very fluently. You want to be able to communicate with native speakers. You want to be able to read English books like nobody's business. What is your plan? Right? You have these goals, but how can you achieve them is what you need to figure out first. So here, Ryan Holiday is the author of this book. Gave the advice. Okay, well, here's what you need to do step by step to accomplishing it. The reality: we hear what we want to hear. We do what we feel like doing, and despite being incredibly busy and working very hard, we accomplish very little. Or worse, find ourselves in a mess we never anticipated. Because we only seem to hear about the passion of successful people, we forget that failures shared the same trait. So, passion is good, your goals are good, figure out a way to do it step by step from zero. Baby steps are good. Don't step too much. You may hurt yourself. Okay. And that's it for everything. Thanks for watching this video. Thanks for being with me and listen to me talking. I hope you like this video. If you do, give it a thumbs up. I will really appreciate it. If you don't like it, that's also fine. I'm still happy you have made this far. So stay tuned and see you next time. Take care.